because we've got the ultimate gaming traffic cop, Geoff Keighley, uh, standing between us and the publishers and schedules to make sure that everything runs on track. He got out there and announced something called the Summer Gamefest, um, which a lot of these, yeah. So a lot of publishers were planning on having digital events. They're planning on doing live
Right.
streams. You know, like
Mhm.
like in these unprecedented times, they were going to do a lot of live streams, and that was kind of already the plan. Um, but there's value in having someone to say, "Hey, this is when this other company is going to go, and we'll assign some slots, and we'll try to put some branding around it." So Jeff
Make a
Keighley,
bigger thing than
yeah,
probably what it was, to begin with.
exactly, and
Yeah,
that's something that I think will really benefit smaller publishers that might not
totally.
draw eyeballs on their own. And so he got out there and announced like a phase one of companies here. Let me look this up. I am 8-bit is going to be a part of this, which is cool. They didn't get a chance to
Mhm.
be a part of E3, but oh, this is okay. Well,
They're gonna build the live stream experience.
yeah. Well, like they're do cool graphic design and stuff. I'm sure
Totally.
they can.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
Easy.
I need to look up Jeff Keighley's Twitter because the website for Summer Game Fest does not list the names of companies the same way that
Well,
he did.
that's not a good
Or the
sign.
Okay. So this is something that's going to be going down between May and August, which is a pretty wide berth. And like I said, this is a lot of stuff that was probably going to happen in some form or another. In fact, looking at this
Totally.
list, I'm like, yeah, they were planning some. Anyway, the companies so far confirmed to be announcing things between May and August are 2K, Activision, Bandai
Mm,
Namco, Bethesda, Blizzard, Bungie, CD Projekt, Digital Extremes, EA, PlayStation, Private Division, which is part of 2K, Riot, Square Enix, Steam, Warner Brothers, and
wow.
Xbox. So
Steam, huh?
yeah, Steam. Uh,
Interesting.
that could be just that could be something like, hey, they're going to be a part of it in terms of like, hey, they're going to have a sale
Or they're
or
gonna have
something
some,
for
like, playable demos probably.
exactly, yeah, playable
Yeah,
demos for some of that stuff, or like, hey,
yeah,
we're going to be hosting these live streams here on Steam because they do that from time to time.
that's true.
Um, that's my
Well,
guess.
this is bigger than I was expecting. This
Yeah,
this very
yeah,
well could have been just like, smaller companies that, wanted to get under this big banner just to get a little bit more exposure, but, we're talking about, 2K and, Sony, and that's, okay,
right.
alright,
And
alright.
I don't know what
We got a
they're.
show, we got a show.
Yeah, and I would be curious to know, like, not that it matters, but like, what is that? Does that mean that they are putting some money in to help promote the overall event by putting their name on this list? Is 2K and Square Enix, and are they putting some money forward to kind of help put this thing together? That's my guess is there's probably something like that,
I'm
uh,
sure.
but I don't know for sure. But you know, like I said, there were always going to be announcements in this time frame. It's cool to have it spread out and not just all happen in that one week in June.
Mhm.
And to have everyone try to do a live stream and have someone live streaming at the exact same time as someone else,
Yeah.
like this is exactly what's needed. Is someone like a Jeff Keighley, who I think is like very well positioned to do this kind of stuff. To be there to kind of like wrangle it
Yep.
and put a bow on it and present it in a way that helps make it all seem a little bit bigger than
Yeah, it's in the best interests of everyone because you would definitely have that. I mean, it even happens at E3 where, like, over the course of 3 days, like, you could be hot shit one day and then another conference comes on and just blows it out of the water. But, like, imagine that even amplified to the ability, like you were saying, of just
right.
like multiple streams going on in the same day and nobody everyone's talking over. It just comes down to like who has the best reactions on Twitter because that's going to dominate. It's just you
Right.
don't have to
Yeah.
worry
And
about
and
that.
and having that situation of just like because these companies don't they talk, but not always in a strategic fashion.
Right.
Having someone who could be the middleman to say like, I don't know what their like weird, deep, confidential plans are, but I know they're planning it. There is an event planned in this window. So if you want to do an event, we recommend you do it here, 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 or here, to try to kind of facilitate that for different companies. I think that's smart of him to do. There was a power vacuum there, and he has stepped up to fill it in a very intelligent way. And you'll have different outlets out there also trying to do their own kind of live stream events. I think GameSpot has announced something, IGN has announced something. Like the PC Gamer show is still they're going to still do their thing in some capacity. So you'll still have outlets try to do that sort of thing. But Geoff Keighley's not an outlet. He's a presenter. He can kind of be a little more neutral in the middle of all this, and I think that's ultimately that's a thing that probably is needed, especially for some of the smaller announcements that'll just get lost in the shuffle otherwise.
Right. Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Last of Us 2, a bunch of it leaked. Last
Gross.
week there was a lot of there's a lot of unverified talk over the last week that it was like, oh, it was some disgruntled employee that did this and that. There are now
People like to
reports.
speculate. Yeah.
Yeah, people
Yeah.
love. Turns out people love to speculate. I mean, it's half this show, honestly. I love to speculate, but
But we're
now the
geniuses at
reports.
speculation.
That's right. The most uninformed speculation around. That's what I'm here for.